Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Sunday morning service at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Laguna Beach. My name is Pamela Floodman. I will be serving as your worship associate for today, and our talented Zoom and audiovisual tech is Don West Jr. This morning, we are delighted to welcome Yvette McDonnell as our guest speaker. Yvette is a Master of Divinity student at Starr King with a concentration in interfaith chaplaincy, and she is joining us today by Zoom from Maine. Her ministry is grounded in justice, hope, and liberation. Yvette has written that she believes that hope is the dream that has yet to come to fruition, and liberation is rooted in those dreams. Yvette is grounded in the knowledge that her ancestors accompany her, and she accepts and recognizes the gifts bestowed upon her as a mystic, a counselor, an educator, and a keeper of memories. Yvette leads worship in the spirit of the African-American tradition, encouraging participation from all of us who have come together, and I think we'll be experiencing that today. Many of us remember the inspirational service which Yvette led at UUFLB in December, during which she introduced us to the story of the 7 spools of thread. We are so honored that she has chosen to join us again to lead today's service, with a focus on the challenging topic of forgiveness. What is forgiveness, and how do we offer up repair? Today, Yvette will be leading us on a journey as she shares her story about how she is unearthing the many layers of forgiveness and repair. So welcome, Yvette. We look forward to exploring together with you through words and music and to joining you on the journey. Each Sunday, anywhere there is a service held in a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a chalice is lit. The flaming chalice is the symbol of our faith. I invite you to light a chalice this morning within your home as I light the chalice for our service. Our chalice lighting words for today are from the Reverend Maureen Killoran. For every time we make a mistake and we decide to start again, we light this chalice. For every time we are lonely and we let someone be our friend, we light this chalice. For every time we are disappointed and we choose to hope, we light this chalice. At UUFLB, we are a welcoming congregation. Whoever you are, whomever you love, no matter your age or gender, your ancestral or ethnic background, whatever sincere questions you bring with you today, whatever has brought you here this morning, we welcome you to our community of mutual caring and serious intent to grow as spiritual and ethical beings. Many thanks to everyone here at UUFLB who works together each week to create opportunities for us to worship together and really to be together in community. Our board, our worship community, everyone who helps prepare each week for our Sunday morning worship services and other events such as the Zoom at noon discussion group. And of course, there are always more opportunities and more to be done. For instance, our current task force focusing on the bylaws. So if you are looking for a way to become more involved, please reach out. And for those of you who are new to our community or visiting us this morning for the first time, please connect with us after service if you would like to be added to our email mailing list, or you can put your email into a private chat in the Zoom to me, so that you can receive advance notice of each Sunday service and of the other events here at UUFLB. Connecting with each other really is the way in which we build community, and that gives us a strong base from which we can go out and make a difference. in our world. One important announcement to highlight this morning is a reminder about our window campaign. As you may be aware, the windows in our sanctuary are in need of replacing. During the annual meeting that we held in June, our treasurer, Tom McGrew, informed us that the fellowship has received a generous anonymous pledge toward the repair or replacement of the windows, provided that there is good faith effort by other members of the congregation to make meaningful contributions towards this goal. Several members have indicated their intention to do so, and in fact have followed through with making these donations. And Tom reported at the board meeting earlier this month that a number of donations have already been received. So if you wish to join and contribute to this campaign, you may do so by writing a check. And then in that case, please just make sure to indicate on the check that the purpose is for the Windows campaign. You may also make your gift electronically. And if you have questions about how to support this campaign, please speak with Tom. And I see that Tom is with us at the service today, so that's something that you can discuss with him perhaps after service. During the summer months this year, while many members of our worship, music, and tech teams have been traveling, we have been holding our worship services by Zoom, including a series of Sunday morning sessions led by Don West Jr., with a focus on the book, After the Good News, Progressive Faith Beyond Optimism, written by UU minister Nancy McDonald Glad. These discussions gave attendees a chance to connect and to grapple with some of the challenges that we as Unitarian Universalists face as we move forward with hope into the future. So many thanks to Don and to all who attended for this valuable summer series. And I think it's going to continue to engender discussion as we consider our possibilities and all of the potential at UUFLB for the future. For the upcoming Sundays over the coming few weeks, we will continue to hold our Sunday morning services by Zoom while we make plans to transition back to in-person worship. So we will continue to make sure that the announcements each week are clear and that an announcement goes out when a date is determined when we'll be transitioning back to in-person worship. Now on the slide that Don has now put up is information for us about upcoming services over the next couple of weeks. So first, next weekend, Sunday, August 28th, we will be holding a social justice service. So as many of you know, each month, typically on the fourth Sunday of the month, we have a focus in holding a social justice service here at UUFLB. And the focus next Sunday will be on homelessness in Orange County. Noreen Kukkonen is coordinating this service together with community leaders who work to support those in our community who are unhoused. And I hope that you'll be able to join us next Sunday for this service. Then on September 4th, Pastor AJ Blackwood will be joining us again at UUFLB as our guest minister for a virtual service. It is several years now, I think, since AJ has preached at UUFLB. He's been very busy over the past several years. And since we last hosted AJ, he has taken on a role as the executive director of the Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry of California. AJ centers his ministry in rooting out oppression in all of its forms by developing deep and meaningful relationships, collaboration, and coalition building. So I am excited that we will have the opportunity to work again with AJ and also to learn more about these endeavors that he's currently involved with. So again, I hope you're able to join us on Sunday, September 4th during Labor Day weekend. So welcome to all. It is so good to be together this morning in worship. And I hope that you have time to stay for a bit after the service to speak with our guest worship leader, Yvette McDonnell, and to connect with each other during the virtual cafe. As Unitarian Universalists, we have 7 principles which we hold as strong values and moral guides as we build our religious community together. Reverend Barbara Wells Ten Hove, the minister emerita of the Cedars UU Church on Bainbridge Island, writes, "The principles are not dogma or doctrine, but rather a guide for those of us who choose to join and participate in Unitarian Universalist religious communities." As I've been reflecting on the theme of forgiveness and repair, the theme that Yvette McDonnell has chosen for our service this morning, it seems to me there is a clear relationship to our third principle. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we affirm and promote acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. I was fascinated to see that Yvette wrote in her description about today's service about the many layers of forgiveness. These words seem to me to be a very apt description. There are so many sides and nuances to acceptance and to forgiveness, so many opportunities to practice and to grow and to work on living out this principle in our lives. And it also seems to me that forgiveness is a very slippery topic. It's hard for me to pin down. So perhaps this is also captured in the concept of the many layers of forgiveness. Sometimes we encounter the phrase to forgive and forget. I heard this phrase even yesterday, to forgive and forget. But that phrase really does not sit very well with me. It seems to me that forgiving can often have much more to do with engaging rather than with forgetting. I've been thinking that when I become aware of a wrong, and this could be a wrong done by another or a wrong done by myself, I find it often takes some time for me to work through my thoughts and my feelings. It's complicated, and sometimes this can keep me up at night. Or I may become aware that I'm even working on what I need to do next, how to engage, literally working on this while I'm sleeping and in my dreams, hopefully waking up with some more ideas of how to move forward. So I've been thinking about how it can often be helpful for me to try to approach forgiveness through dialogue with myself and with others, but also how very hard this can be. And I've also been thinking about how challenging it is when the wrong that has been done that perhaps needs forgiveness, when this wrong has harmed many people or has occurred over a long period of time. Indeed, there are many layers to forgiveness and many challenges in working towards repair. So this week, while I was thinking and reading about forgiveness, I found the following words from Philip Larson, which I have chosen as our centering thought for this morning. So I invite you, if you wish, to unmute yourselves and read the words of our centering thought together with me. Again, these are words from Philip Larson. Please read with me. We gather
together,
face
ourselves
honestly,
to forgive ourselves
gently,
to love one another
fervently. Thank you. Our opening hymn this morning is number 1008 from our Teal hymnal, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. It seems to me that the holy place of this fellowship, even when we are in our virtual space, really is a space where we can take the steps to explore these topics of forgiveness and repair. So please join our talented music director, Carol Cole, in singing at home the words of this beautiful hymn. The words will be in the chat. And again, it's number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Please join me in singing one of our longstanding favorites, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. the God of our hearts stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, and our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, feel the love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Thank you, Carol. Can you all hear me okay? Okay, thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to everyone that is here, wherever you may be Zooming from. How is everyone feeling so far today? This is the African American tradition where you all unmute and tell me how you all are doing today.
Excellent.
Good, good. Well,
So good, so good.
Very good.
Well,
Well,
Good, good. Well, all is well and all is well and all is well. So thank you for joining us wherever you may be Zooming from today. It's so good to be back at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Laguna Beach. And, you know, I can't thank you enough for inviting me to come back to be in community with all of you today. And I am so joyful to be here. Today's opening words come from an excerpt from The Art of Forgiveness, Loving Kindness, and Peace by Jack Kornfield. Traditionally, the work of the heart begins with forgiveness. Forgiveness is the necessary ground for any healing. First, we need a wise understanding of forgiveness. Then we can learn how it is practiced, how we may forgive both ourselves and others. Forgiveness is letting go of the past suffering and betrayal and a release of the burden of pain and hate that we may carry. Forgiveness honors the heart's greatest dignity. Whenever we are lost, it brings us back to the ground of love. With forgiveness, we become unwilling to attack or wish harm on another. Whenever we forgive in small ways at home or great ways between nations, we free ourselves from the past. It is hard to imagine a world without forgiveness. Without forgiveness, life would be unbearable. Without forgiveness, our lives are chained, forced to carry the sufferings of the past and repeat them with no release. I'm going to just say that last sentence one more time because it really resonates. Without forgiveness, our lives are chained, forced to carry the sufferings of the past and repeat them without release. So good, so good. I love that piece of work. Today's opening song of Deep Wisdom is from one of my most favorite singers and activists, birth doula, and all around wise woman, Erykah Badu. I chose the song Bag Lady as a way to ground us collectively before today's sermon. I invite you to sing along if you know the words, but please stay muted. You're invited to sway and tap your feet and close your eyes and feel Erykah Badu's message today about what it means to carry the sufferings of the past.
Wow. Thank you, Yvette, for bringing that video to us. Now, let us take a moment to remind ourselves why we come together as a community. I invite you to read these words together when and if it feels right for you. They will be on the screen. And if you wish, please unmute your microphone so that we can hear as we join our voices together. We won't be in perfect synchronization, and yet it still has power when we join our voices together. So please join me now together in reading. Love
Is
It's the spirit,
of this
fellowship,
fellowship,
and
service
service
is
is law.
This is our great
This is
covenant.
our
Our
great
great
covenant
covenant.
Peace
to
to dwell together
Together
in
in
peace
to
peace,
seek the truth
seek
in
to
love,
seek the
in
truth in
love,
love,
and to
and
help
to
and
each
to help
other.
one
each
another.
other.
We have come to a time in our service to briefly share the important events that have touched our lives in the past week. Our joys, when shared, are magnified. And when we share our sorrows, we can provide the support and care that are vital for all of us in community. During this time of sharing our joys and concerns, we will pause the recording of the service. It is as much a blessing to be able to give as it is to receive. In this self-governing, self-sustaining community, we recognize that it is our responsibility to do both and to do both well. So during this time of our offering, we invite you to give what you will. Our fellowship really depends on the love and the generous contributions from all of our members. We are empowered by innumerable gifts of those who join in covenant with us. Their time, compassion, humor, support, financial contribution, and all of our gifts generously given are needed for this fellowship and for the continued work we can do in the world. So the information on your screen provides two ways in which you can give, either electronically or by sending a check to the fellowship. During this time when we honor our offering, please enjoy music provided by our music director, Carol Cole. Please join us now in singing to each other words of sincere gratitude. Granted, we'll be muted while we're singing, and yet the words are important and capture, I think, how we work together here as a fellowship. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Thank you. Thank you. I find myself taking many deep breaths these days. I love working with deep breaths as a way to release and embody, as an embodied experience, that's right at my fingertips. Deep breathing grounds me to the moment, and it offers me this expansiveness of possibilities. I invite us to sit in a comfortable position. If you're able, place your feet firmly on the ground. And if you can, place your hands and your shoulders in a comfortable way that feels good to you. And you're welcome to close your eyes and or turn off your cameras for the moment as I invite us to take some deep clearing breaths and to move our bodies just a little bit. So we will start with 3 deep breaths. And when you feel ready, if you want, you're invited to close your eyes, taking a deep breath in and exhaling out. And in and out. Releasing all that you may be holding. And one last deep breath in and out. I invite you to take your chin to your chest and lean forward while breathing in. And then look up and exhale out. Oh, that feels so good. I want to do that again. So chin to chest, breathing in. And exhaling as we look up. Take your right ear to your right shoulder. Just give a little stretch and a pause just for a moment. Breathing coming back to center. Left ear to left shoulder. If you're able to, as much as you're able to, turn your head to the right. Coming center and to the left. And before we move into service, let us take 3 more deep cleansing breaths. And the first one in and out. And in and out. And our last breath in and out. Taking a moment to settle into our bodies with deep breath is such a gift. Today's opening song, Bag Lady from Erykah Badu, has been a song that I've been listening to and singing to for almost, I don't know, maybe 20 years. And, it wasn't until about 10 years or so ago that I actually stopped and listened carefully to the words. She says, "Bag lady, you gonna hurt your back dragging all them bags like that. I guess no one ever told you all you must hold on to is you. One day, all them bags gonna get in your way. So pack light. Let them go, let them go, let them go. I've struggled with this. How? How do we let go of the hurt and the pain and all of the bags that some of us may be carrying? I know I certainly have some bags I've been lugging around for years and years. Look, I'm growing as a seminarian, as a mother, a wife, a friend, a sister, and all the other salient identities that I hold. Not only am I growing, but I am having some serious growing pains. And I want to share with you today about some of those growing pains. I want to tell you a story about my last semester, last spring semester, which seemed like forever, 16 very long weeks. I was going through it, and I was deeply struggling because of one class I had to take called Forgiveness and Moral Repair. Yeah, Forgiveness and Moral Repair. It's still, the name of the class still affects me, where I need to stop and take a pause for some deep breaths. Let me ask you, how do these words, forgiveness and moral repair, land in your body? Do these words invoke some sort of feeling, perhaps a memory or an unknown? I don't know about you, but the name of the class all these weeks later are still swirling with all kinds of emotions within my body and my soul. And taking deep breaths were and are needed as I lean into my discomfort around this topic. See, my unsettled nerves began 1 month before class even started. My stomach was all anxious, and all I talked about with my counselor for 1 month prior to the class even beginning was this class. It felt like some impending doom. I didn't say much in the form of words to my counselor about this class, but the anxiety, my goodness, it was the anxiety that it was bringing up for me. I was just besides myself. But why? The class hadn't even started yet. I was called to sit still for a minute and to be quiet and to listen. I had to listen to my own truth and not hide from whatever message was going to be revealed. What did I go and do that for? I sat still and I sat quietly. And you know what? I listened. And I got my answer for sure. It was those bags. I was carrying around all them bags, and I knew I was going to have to sort through my own luggage. And I knew I was going to have to be curious about what I was carrying and why I was carrying so many bags. And I was going to have to, look inside of those bags. I was going to have to sit with myself. I was going to have to sit with my pain, my sorrows, my anger, and my rage, and any hurt that I may have caused another. So you see, this is what was going on in my mind, and my body was uneasy because I knew I was going to have some heavy work to do. Well, the first day of class finally arrived, and I received the syllabus. And I read the topics for each week. The power of forgiveness, starting with self-compassion, family fights, grievance stories, preparing to forgive, the Sunflower Project, apology, repentance, and moral repair. When a child hurts, forgiveness, relationships, and infidelity. We Are Charleston, racial injustices, forgiveness and reparations, thanks, grieving, and Thanksgiving. And lastly, reconciliation. I was having all kinds of feelings, all kinds of emotions that I could not name, and I wanted to drop the required course. But you know what? I remembered my growing edges and that it's okay to be scared. I remembered that it's okay to be uncomfortable. And I remembered that much of my growth had come when I sat with my discomfort in the past. So I just pushed on. Week by week, I read all of my assignments. And I participated with some amazing spiritual practices. And I shared my reflections with my class colleagues, which were actually reciprocated by my classmates' own vulnerable stories and understandings of what forgiveness and moral repair meant to them. I was learning new perspectives and new ways of being. With each week that passed, I slowly began to view the class not so much as a requirement, but an opportunity, an investment in myself and in my relationships. It was an opportunity to peel back the layers of understanding of forgiveness. I began to think about my own childhood, my relationship within my family, past relationships with old boyfriends and friends and teachers. I then began to examine my relationship with my husband and my daughter. I began to open the bags that I had been carrying, and I chose to explore what was inside of them. Now, look, don't get me wrong. I haven't looked through all the bags just yet, but I'm unpacking them one breath and one step at a time. I'm letting go, letting go, letting go, like Erykah Badu says. And I learned so many great lessons during those 16 weeks that are still reverberating within my body, my mind, and my soul. One of those lessons that has stayed with me was a story from Yes Magazine that was published in May of 2011. And it was about these two mothers who found forgiveness and friendship after 9/11. On September 11th, 2001, Phyllis Rodriguez's son, Greg, was killed in the terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center. Just 2 months later, Aisha Al-Wafi's son, Zacharias Moussaoui, was indicted on the charges of conspiring to plan the attack that killed Phyllis's son, Greg. Now, I'm going to just stop for a moment. Are y'all following me so far? This is a part of the African-American tradition where y'all say, yes, I am following you, or no, repeat yourself, Yvette. So are y'all following me so far on this story? Because it's about to get good and I don't want you to miss anything.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good, good. So what happened? Let's see. Okay, so in 2002, the two mothers met. And over the years, they formed this unlikely friendship based on forgiveness, peace, and hope for the future. Later, the two women, they did a TED Talk. And it was while I was watching this particular TED Talk that my perspective on forgiveness had shifted. Phyllis said, when my son Greg was killed, I thought I would never forgive the people who murdered my son. But she later described the suffering of Aisha, the mother of Zechariah. And she said, when people hear my son was a victim, I got immediate sympathy. But when people learned what her son was accused of, she didn't get that sympathy. But her suffering is equal to mine. I'm just gonna stop just for a moment. And I invite you to let those words wash over you. Her suffering was equal to mine. I don't know how those words landed with all y'all, but my heart in that moment opened up. And I found myself tearing up and crying. I have been sitting with this story long after the semester ended. And it allowed me to do something that I had never done before, never considered. It allowed me to glimpse the other side of someone else's pain and suffering. So as the class continued each week, I moved from being really, really anxious to being uncomfortable, to being pleasantly uncomfortable, then to wanting to learn more about this subject. I realized that my own discomfort with this idea of forgiveness was rooted in my own assumptions about the subject. That forgiveness was something that had to happen in order for me to heal. That forgiveness was the morally right thing to do. Well, now I'm having this lovely dance that I'm doing with forgiveness and moral repair. The second nugget of wisdom that is companioning me from this class, and it's offering opportunities for that expansion in the breath that I take in my own truth, is that when tragic events happen, because they will, and when people do people-y things because they do, and when people cause intentional or unintentional harm, feelings get hurt. And the paths of forgiveness and repair aren't always just black and white or this and that, but it's layered, right? It's layered and filled, and it's complex feelings and emotions. And I am currently unearthing forgiveness as an entity that ebbs and flows like a breathing body with no time limitations to it. Forgiveness for someone can change from day to day and moment to moment. And there may be things in life that just cannot be forgiven. I've come to recognize forgiveness as non-binary. You know, I was pondering, what if someone isn't ready to forgive? What if, right? What if someone is processing their hurt and their trauma with anger and rage? Are they wrong? Do they not have the right to their feelings? Does it mean that they can't heal and move on with their lives? Well, in my opinion, no. What I've learned to come to understand for myself is that forgiveness and what one chooses to do with it is a personal choice. And as for all of my baggage that I've been carrying, I am packing much lighter these days, thanks to my forgiveness and moral repair class. I am redefining my framework with forgiveness, and I am letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. Thank you all so much for witnessing and honoring my story about how I am relating to forgiveness at this moment in time. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
Thank you again, Yvette, for being with us today, for sharing your stories, for sharing your wisdom. Now is the time for us to extinguish our chalice here and within our homes. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we all carry in our hearts until we are together.
As we begin to transition from this moment to the next, I offer each of you this blessing from my heart to yours. May you make space each day for deep breathing. May you be open to the possibilities of the many, many ways of knowing. May you dance with the expansiveness of forgiveness. May you repair what has been chipped, broken, or taken. May you know that you can forgive and hold boundaries that will keep you safe. May you remember that your journey is unique to you and it is sacred and holy. May you know that you are loved. Ashe, amen, and blessed be. And please join us for the closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, and Carol is going to guide us with that. Thank you so much.
Please join me. Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, that peace that was meant to be. With earth as our mother, we are family. Let us walk with